Central. Students, family, staff, if at any point, through the course of the day, the weight of mass shooting or recent communications related to employee discipline at North Central, but at any point through the day, you feel like you need to just share that need a little space, please do not hesitate to take advantage of counseling department here at North Central, or school social workers, or even just a trusted adult who you feel you can just share your thoughts with or feelings with. But please don't sit idly by yourself, trying to cope with all that's going on. Again, if you need to talk to someone, please take advantage of the resources here at North Central, as we are definitely all in this together. North Central, let's finish the day strong.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I will reiterate what Mr. Brannigan just said. If anybody needs a minute to process or do anything, let me know. As I don't know the full story or not, but understand if you're impacted, you may need to talk to somebody, etc. Okay. All right. I need everybody to kind of focus in here. It's Friday, I know. So we're going to do some current events. Once they are done, you'll have a little bit of time. Those of you on Zoom might have time to go, get some breakfast or something like that. Who knows? We'll see how long this goes. I see Kennedy here. I see Azareth, and I got Chris in class. So we got a trifecta today. For those of you, come on in, guys. For those of you that are at home, I'm going to go ahead and share the screen. Those of you in person, I would appreciate it if for a moment you could take your cell phones and your earbuds out. Let's have an actual class, and then you can go back to your snap photos and whatever else you're doing, Luke. Okay? So if you go to week 14, everybody should see current event participation. So you're going to need to get your computers out, actually wake up. Again, take the headphones out, please. Not today at all. No, I'm not till like a week and a half or so. There. Kyle, put your mask up.
Hey, I'm like proud to you, man. I'm trying to protect you guys.
Okay. We have someone in the room who's giving a guest lecture on mask wearing. Excuse me, those online.
I'm in a bad mood, man.
Okay, he's now self-professing his bad mood to us all.
Kind of like, you feel like that.
Can you? We got a class to do some stuff.
I got one kid in my room.
You want to switch? I swear I could teach econ to one kid without ever even knowing any of the content.
What I want to do is watch the video.
Okay, have a good day. Don't do anything weird.
So I do.
Okay. All right. Sorry about that, folks. So now we're actually gonna have real class. All right. So current event participation. Click on the page, please. There's two things I wanted to highlight before anybody does anything. So I want some eyes up here. Jordan, for the fourth time, get off your phone. Put it somewhere else. All of you. Now, I have a cellular device. Do I want to go sit and look at the news for an hour and read what's going on? Maybe text my wife, see how the kids woke up. Sure, but am I? No. Okay. So I respect you enough to do the same thing for me. All right. Look at the screen, please. It's not rocket science. If you're going to complete a quiz late, a lot of you did not take the quiz on Monday. Yeah, 4 days ago. Send me your score. I'm not going to go back in and look for scores. Don't send me an email saying, Mr. Burnett, you suck because you didn't grade my quiz. No. You took it late. You send me the message. It's a fair game, right? A little bit of effort on your part and a little bit of effort on my part. We meet halfway. Second thing, if you're going to turn in your intro late, because a lot of people did not turn in their intro yesterday, send it to me directly as a Canvas message. Messages are over here. You click that button, boom. Okay, right there. See that, everyone on Zoom? And then you send me the message. It's not rocket science. It's just, that's how it's going to work. Okay. If not, I gotta go fish out between, 86 assignments to try to find yours. That's not fun. Okay, so gentle reminder here. That's why I put it in there. Period 1, you need to click on this Google Doc right here. Okay, click on it. What you are going to see is Kennedy, Azareth, and Chris, as those are the 3 people that are going to be presenting today. If we have time, if Chris Barber is out there, he is not, we would have 4, but we're going to do 3 today for sure. So keep that in mind. And you're going to put one of the 3 answers to the current event in here, and make sure you have a response, as this is how I'm going to grade your participation today. Okay. So Michael Dunn, can I get a thumbs up? Are you with me? I can see you, Francesca. Awesome. All right, Kennedy, are you ready to go?
Yes.
I'm gonna have to change the speakers here real quick to my Epson. Make sure this is the correct one. Epson, and I gotta turn this on. All right, Kennedy, can you unmute and just say something like good morning?
Good morning.
Thank you. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and share your slides with the Zoomers and the kids in the room. And all right, you ready to go?
Yeah.
All right, talk to us.
Women's rights in the UK. Over 100 years ago, on the January 10, 1918, the House of Lords gave approval for women over the age of 30 to have the right to vote. It was not until 1928, a decade after, that women over the age of 21 could vote. In early Victorian Britain, a woman's role had been focused solely on being able to birth and raise a child and look after the house. The idea that women were political beings entitled to an opinion, let alone a vote, was unheard of. The picture shows Emily Pankhurst being arrested outside Buckingham Palace while trying to present a petition to King George V in May 1914. Today, citizens have to be over the age of 18 years old to vote in England and Northern Ireland. Another big change was women's roles. Firstly, women don't have roles anymore, meaning they are not solely used for house labor and kids. Women these days are fighting for equal rights, things like getting paid the same amount of money, and also just as likely to be hired at the job as men. Women of the UK hope to have equal rights in the future. Equal rights initially means that it is a proposed amendment to the Constitution made to guarantee equal legal rights for all citizens regardless of their sex. It hopes to end legal distinctions between men and women in matters of divorce, property, employment, and other matters. Maybe now, or hopefully in a few years, women and citizens of the UK will have just that. That's the video, and you can look for a quote by Wilbur Boley.
Okay.
What's the difference between geocoding and rooftop geocoding by Smarty Streets? Well, it's sort of like this, or like this. What about malls and mobile home communities? This is geocoding. This.
Hi, I'm John Green. This is Crash Course U.S. History, and today we're going to talk about women in the Progressive Era. God, that is fantastic. Wait, votes for women? So between Teddy Roosevelt and Woodrow Wilson and all those doughboys headed off to war, women
All right, talking about World War I.
in this period have sort of been footnoted, shockingly.
Mr. Green, I'd never make a woman a footnote. She'd be the center of my world, my raison d'etre, my joie de vivre.
Oh, me from the past. I'm reminded of why you got a C+ in French 3. Let me submit to you, me from the past, that your weird worship of women is a kind of misogyny because you're imagining women as these beautiful, fragile things that you can possess. It turns out that women are not things. They are people in precisely the same way that you are a person. And in the Progressive Era, they demanded to be seen as full citizens of the United States. In short, women don't exist to be your joie de vivre. They get to have their own joie it's something to limit ourselves to discussion of women getting the right to vote with the passage of the 19th Amendment, but if we focus too much on the constitutional history, we're going to miss a lot. Some historians refer to the 30 years between 1890 and 1920 as the women's era, because it was in that time that women started to have greater economic and political opportunities. Women were also aided by legal changes, like the right to own property, control their wages, and make contracts and wills. By 1900, almost 5 million women worked for wages, mainly in domestic service or light manufacturing, like the garment industry. Women in America were always vital contributors to the economy as producers and consumers, and they always worked, whether for wages or taking care of children and the home. And as someone who has recently returned from paternity leave, let me tell you, that ain't no joke. And American women were also active as reformers since, like, America became a thing. And those reform movements brought women into state and national politics before the dawn of the progressive era. Unfortunately, their greatest achievement, prohibition, was also our greatest national shame. No. Yeah, no, okay. Actually, not our top 5 national shames. So probably women's greatest influence indeed came through their membership and leadership in the Women's Christian Temperance Union. The WCTU was founded in 1874, and by 1890, it had 150,000 members, making it the largest female organization in the United States. Under the leadership of Frances Willard, the WCTU embraced a broad reform agenda, like it included pushing for the right for women to vote. The feeling was that the best way to stop people from drinking was to pass local laws that made it harder to drink, and to do that, it would be very helpful if women could vote, because American men were a bunch of alcoholic scoundrels who darn well weren't going to vote to get rid of beer
That's
hoses.
weird.
In 1895, Willard boldly declared a wider freedom is coming to the women of America. Too long has it been held that woman has no right to enter these movements. Politics is the place for women, but the role of women in politics did greatly expand during the progressive era. As in prior decades, many reformers were middle and upper class women, but the growing economy and the expansion of what might be called the upper middle class meant that there were more educational opportunities, and this growing group of college-educated women leaned in and became the leaders of new movements. Sorry, there was no way I was going to get through this without one lean in. I love that book. So as we talked about before, the 1890s saw the dawning of the American mass consumer society, and many of the new products.
All right, we got our 3 minutes in there. That's interesting, Kennedy, because that is definitely talking about the same time period that we are talking about in class right now. And that might have been about the US, but Britain and France and Germany, other countries around the world were dealing with the same thing at that time as well. Go ahead. What are your discussion questions, Kennedy? Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm trying to look at my side.
Oh, I gotta share it. My bad. Hold on a second. That's my fault. Hold on. You're good. I gotta reshare that. There we go.
What do you think will happen in the future for women in the UK? How do you feel about women's rights? And do you think ERA is a positive movement? Explain.
An ERA was the Equal Rights Amendment.
Yeah.
Good. You know, if you follow along in this class and you actually like follow it, because like in AP World History, we're all the way to the present because we have to move quicker because of the AP exam. Like most of the history, the last like 400 years is about, or 250 years about people trying to get rights, right? That's why the United States was created. They were complaining about their lack of rights from Britain. And even you go all the way to the Black Lives Matter movement and pushing for social justice and equity. And we're still fighting for the same stuff today. So good job. Thank you, Kennedy. Let's give her a round of applause, please, folks. Come on, my friend. Yeah, we show a little love. All right. Answer one of these 3 questions, please. Take about 90 seconds to do so. And Azareth, make sure you're ready to rock and roll here in about 2 minutes, all right? All right, does anybody have an answer they want to share out loud in particular? What's up? I bet somebody in the room. Does anybody have a Chrome charger? Anybody have anything that they would like to share? I mean, you can even supplement UK for the United States or the rest of the world. Or how do you feel about women's rights? Or do you think the Equal Rights Amendment is a positive movement? Anybody want to say anything? No? Okay. Let's go ahead and check out our Google Doc then, see if people are, I don't know, I forgot where that would have been. Actually doing what they're supposed to be doing. It's somewhere around here. There we go. Renisha, do you know how to get on here? Nate, can you turn around and show where it is on the module? Joe Vu, I know you're out there, man. You need to put something in here on the and Zoe, you're not on there as well. What's up? Excuse me? Yep, because it's going right here. After you put a response in. Oh, all right, you better hurry. You got 90 seconds. Can you make it? Why are you taking your, oh, okay. It's just, yeah. Left. Quickly though. All right. Joe Vu, we're still waiting on you. Zoe, Candy, you don't have to do it because you just presented. Diamond, I know you're out there as well. Make sure you get on this Google Doc from the module, please. And the page for today. We still have a long way to go. A lot of good answers here. All right, good job. Azareth, you are ready to go. Caravans in Guatemala. So I'm gonna go ahead. We're gonna go on to number 2 here. Gonna switch the share up. And I don't know too much about this. So, all right, Azareth, can you unmute and just say good morning?
Good morning.
Thank you. Everyone's heads are up. Everyone's anxiously waiting you to talk to us about caravans in Guatemala. Our heads are up, right? Yeah, good. And our cell phones aren't out. All right, you got it, Azareth. Hit it.
Okay, caravans in Guatemala. Background information. Many were fleeing their countries due to the poverty they faced caused by hurricanes, leaving them homeless and destitute. An example would be Lucy Cervella, a Honduran woman with 3 children from La Lima City, who joined their husband in the caravans. We don't have enough money to eat anymore. The government has done nothing to help, she stated. Some days we eat meals, some days we eat nothing. Was stated by a 40-year-old woman with 3 kids whose home was destroyed by the storm. Some extra facts would be that many hurricane victims are living in tents donated by foreigners. Others are on the floor of local school buildings, and Hondurans also suffer from the incredibly high rates of violence, crime, and the pandemic has crippled the economy. What's currently happening, Mexico and Guatemala have been stopping the immigrants due to the pandemic and to minimize its spread. President Lopez Obrador stated, "We are going to continue acting the same way," leaving it clear it wasn't for the United States pressure to stop the caravans from entering, but instead for safety reasons. The police officers and some soldiers have been pushing them back and blocking the roads they've been coming from. In the future, it doesn't seem the situation will change much, since if they do reach the Guatemalan-Mexican border, they will only face more repercussions. According to Ariel Ruiz Soto, who stated, if this caravan actually made it to Guatemala, Mexico border, that there would be even the heavier presence of Mexican National Guard to try to detain the immigrants. Due to their reaction, several people were injured. Out of those who were for medical assistance, 21 tested positive for COVID.
Wow.
In the video, it talks about the situation of the caravans back in January 2021. They interviewed a man about his thoughts and situation regarding why they left and if they would plan on going forward.
Wow. Look at this. This feels so natural and so lightweight.
Gonna change the share over to the video here.
The moment Guatemalan police broke up a caravan of thousands of people from Honduras. They were trying to get to the US, but they hadn't made it far. Just above Babahondo, the town 50 kilometers into Guatemala, the first country in their route. Security forces stopped them on Saturday, saying they needed COVID tests and papers to pass. Since then, they've been camped out on the highway while a huge traffic jam built up behind them. Now the lorries are running again, but the problems of these people remain unresolved. Honduras is one of the poorest and most violent countries in Latin America, and two massive November storms make things worse. We don't have work, there is no food, there isn't anything, we are keeping up the fight. Their government hasn't saved them. President Juan Orlando has been criticized for his handling of the economy, the rule of law, and democracy itself.
If the president doesn't want us to leave, why doesn't he give us work and a good salary? He is increasing taxes, electricity bills, the price of gas, but the salaries are rubbish.
Given all that, many say they'll go on, but they'll find it hard to do so as a group. And even if they make it as far as Mexico, this is waiting for them. Others are being bussed back to Honduras, the place they say they left because they have nothing. John Holman, Al Jazeera.
The new president is set to take office in America. He's promised to give legal status to
All right, go ahead and walk us through your questions, please.
Question number 1, what do you believe is the main issue? Number 2, what do you think the Guatemalan Mexican government could do? And number 3, what could have the caravan done differently?
Azareth, can I ask you a question, please?
Yeah.
These people are fleeing Honduras because of the bad economy and the lack of food and water. And so they're trying to basically go from Honduras all the way up to through Guatemala and Mexico to get to the United States.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a long way. Mexico is a very long country. Okay. That was interesting. If you could, let's everybody give Azareth a round of applause, please. A lot of things going on at our border right now, especially with the switch between the presidents, but I didn't realize Mexico and Guatemala were having the same problems, especially due to this pandemic. I'm sure food supplies and all that are issues in a lot of places. Go ahead and answer one of these 3 questions. I'd love to hear if anybody has an opinion on what they think the Guatemalan or Mexican government could do, because I don't know if those countries can handle people that don't have any money and no food at the same time. So does anybody have an opinion on this, whether they're on Zoom or in person? Kyla, what do you think? Yeah. Okay, leaving for a good reason. The government should support them. Do you think it would be fair for the Guatemalan and Mexican government to just transport them to the United States border and leave them there? Why not? Xavier, why not? Too many people. Where? In the United States? The border? Yeah. Nate? Yeah. The issue is though, it's Guatemala and Mexico, and this is what Kyla was saying. I don't know if they have the economic stability, if they're of enough money to be able to support people on top of already the government. Our government gave out like stimulus checks, right? Stuff like that. You know who's gonna be paying for all that, right? You and my kids. That's gonna cost us down the road. Does that make sense? We get it now, but we're going to be paying. Somehow we're going to have to pay for that in the future. Who knows? Maybe our economy will grow so much and taxes will go up that we won't have to. Right now the stock market is on a bull run. We'll see. All right. Anybody else have any other thoughts that they'd like to discuss? Anybody at home? Francesco, you got anything you want to say? I just asked because I can see your video.
No, I'm good.
Okay, no worries. All right, well, great job. That was again a little bit different topic. I haven't heard that one yet. And gonna go ahead and stop the share here. And we've got one more today. And that is Christopher Pickett. And I'm gonna go ahead and reshare here. And Christopher, I'm gonna go ahead and kind of turn this so that the students in the room can see you and see the ones can kind of hear you as well. So why don't you walk us through this?
All right, global warming in Antarctica. So over the past 50 years, the Antarctic Peninsula has been one of the most rapidly warming parts of the planet. And this warming is not only restricted to the land, but can also be noted in the Southern Ocean. Upper ocean temperatures of the west of the Antarctic Peninsula have increased over 1 degree Celsius since 1955. It has now been established that the Antarctic circumpolar current is warming rapidly than the ocean as a whole. So the presence of the high ice sheet in the polar location make Antarctica a powerful heat sink that strongly affects the climate of the whole Earth. To put that in simpler terms, it basically means that the ice sheets that are below the Earth, that are on top of the Earth, I think. Antarctica is on top of the Earth. And basically, those ice sheets regulate temperatures of the whole ocean. And that can affect the Southern Ocean, that could affect the Atlantic Ocean, basically the whole climate of the Earth. So Antarctica, we kind of need to be cold in order for, the whole Earth to have a nice regulated climate. That's basically covers all this because it's very complex.
Yeah.
And what may happen as time goes on, the seasons change annually as they normally do. The climate will get warmer possibly, and then that will change the climate of the whole Earth.
The MailChimp created a smart. Simply
1 second here. I'm gonna pop the share over. And
here 1 second. Beautiful designs, right? It's not just because they huddle together by the thousand that makes penguins so hard to count. It's because they do so in the most remote places on the planet. Great swathes of Antarctica are too isolated even for a plane to reach, but now scientists are counting penguins from space. Satellite photos are so good, individual birds can be spotted against the ice. and they found there were twice as many penguins as they had once thought.
This used to be the second largest emperor penguin colony in the world.
But they're in trouble. Emperor penguins need sea ice to breed on, and it's melting as the world warms.
The places where emperor penguins can breed and successfully live will become smaller and smaller until maybe they won't be. There will still be some emperor penguins by the end of this century, in 80 years' time. But in most cases, by then, their populations are plummeting downwards. So how much longer they will survive after that depends very much on what we as a species do and how we change the climate over the coming decades.
Antarctica has lost 3 trillion tons of ice over the last 25 years. Half of that has been in the last 5. What happens to the rest is uncertain, and scientists are drilling deep into the ice sheet in the search of clues.
This sliver of ice comes from hundreds of meters below the surface, and it's trapped air bubbles from tens of thousands of years ago. It tells scientists something about the atmosphere in the distant past, but it also helps them understand where the planet might be heading in the future.
When we're looking at an ice core, what we're doing is we're analysing it and we're going essentially back through time. So we've got the present and we're working back through time. And we can go back in more than just a few decades with shallow cores, and potentially we can go back nearly a million years with a really decades.
That's crazy. Wow.
3 million years ago, greenhouse gas levels in the atmosphere were much the same as today, but the planet was 2 degrees warmer and sea levels 20 meters higher. It could once again be our destiny.
So Antarctica is our largest reservoir of fresh water. I mean, in a very unrealistic scenario, if you melted all of the whole of Antarctica, you'd be increasing sea levels by around 60 meters. Obviously, that's not likely to happen anytime in the near future, but it does have the potential to rise sea levels in the order of 7 meters in the sort of future warming scenario.
Sky News will join scientists from British Antarctic Survey on a 6-week mission to monitor the frozen continent. If greenhouse gas emissions continue to rise, the ripples from what's happening 10,000 miles away at the bottom of the planet will in time affect us all. Thomas Moore, Sky News.
That is interesting. Okay, let me flip that share back. If I can figure out where my mouse is. All right, go ahead, Chris.
So-
Oh, hold on, I gotta resume. All right, you're good.
Okay, so I got 3 questions. How does this-
Real loud.
How does this situation make you feel? What do you think we can do to help? And how do you think this will affect Indiana?
All right, let's give Christopher a round of applause. Thank you. All right. How does this situation make you feel? What do you think we can do to help? Do you think this will affect Indiana? What is a meter? Does everyone know what a meter is? It's like 3 feet and some change. So, you know, if the ocean rises by 20 meters, that will drown cities like New York, Boston, Washington, D.C., Miami. Anything within probably 50 miles of the coast will be underwater or more. So that's kind of what they're looking at right now. Personally, this beach that we used to go to in Michigan, when our parents go, it just disappeared last 5 summers just because of the fact that so much ice is melting, and then the water is going into the Great Lakes. Even that beaches are just the water level goes up by even 6 inches to a foot. You lose entire hundreds of yards of land. Not that a beach is all that important to me, but like if that were my house or my area of work, you know, could be a little more, affect me a little more. All right, anybody in class or on Zoom have an answer to either one of these 3 questions? Ethan, since you're on your phone right now, you gotta go ahead and share. That was all one word. Can you enunciate? Hold on, that was all one word too.
We need to reduce our carbon emissions and do more to curb climate
Good. We need to reduce our what?
carbon emissions.
Carbon emissions. Yeah. So I told you we bought a van 2 nights ago. We bought a hybrid engine. Because we think that that's where the technology is going to be going in the future anyways. And it gets a lot better gas mileage and it's better for the earth. We'll see if it actually is. Anybody else? Nate, what do you think? Most people aren't going to do anything. I like getting my stuff on Amazon. Those trucks got to release emissions, right? Maybe they should start using electric cars. Wouldn't that be smart?
Yeah, I heard they're actually starting to do that.
I'm sure they are. I'm sure they're getting pressure from the government to do it because the pandemic has caused a spike in people ordering stuff online, right? Getting it shipped to their house. The other thing is, I was gonna say, there are we're at over 7 billion people on the earth right now. When the Industrial Revolution was at its heyday, like 1850, which you guys talked about, Mr. Renshaw, there was 1 billion people on the earth. So 170 years ago, there was 1 billion people on the earth. And in 170 years, we've gone to over 7. It's like, with that type of population growth, are we going to change climates? Are we going to change like animal species and like their habitats? Yeah. I mean, I honestly, we probably live because we're in the middle of a large continent. We probably won't feel it as bad as if we were living on a coast somewhere, you know? Or if we were living in a place like in Indiana, you can still go out and grow a garden, right? If you really wanted to. You might not get the most successful garden, but you can still grow your own food if you had to. You could probably grow an animal, give them, there's enough grass to feed on in Indiana, that type of thing. Whereas there's a lot of areas of the world that don't have those same opportunities. So I don't know. This is interesting. Good topics today. Class, here's what I want to say before we sign off. And like I said, give you a few minutes. I really would like you to go onto your Skyward and check on your missing assignments. Okay. And if there's obvious, easy missing assignments that you're missing, none of the quizzes are locked or anything like that. Take them, send me their score, send me missing intros. They're not that difficult. Okay. All it takes is you caring. Get your grades up because once we return back to a normal world, colleges, jobs. I had a young man in this room who just said he wanted to get a job. He's 16. Sometimes people will ask for your transcript. They're not going to be very impressed if they see that you got an F in freshman history class. They're going to wonder why you got an F in freshman history class. Okay. So, or, why you are a C student, an average student. They might not want an average employee. They might want an above average employee. Okay. So that's just some food for thought, folks. We're kind of winding down here too. We got about a month left. I would like to see everyone take care of their grades. I'm not sure if you heard about the final exam policy. Okay. This is another important topic. I'm sure your other teachers have broached it, but it is what is called a no fault final. Okay. No hurt final, meaning if you have a B in the class and you take the final and you get an F on it, your B stays the exact same. If you get an A on the final, your grade could go up, but it can't go down. Okay. So if you have an A going into the final, guess what you got in the course? Average 2-9 weeks out. So you have AA, you got in A. You don't even, I'm not going to say this, but let's imply the obvious common sense thing here. What am I implying, Jacob? What's that? Not just that. I'm just going to go. I'm going to end this show for a second. I'm going to stop the share. Hopefully y'all are listening to me at home because it's kind of important news. But I'm actually going to